Most of you watching this video right now are focused on the completely wrong coins in the crypto market. Now, unless you're super deep in crypto, you have probably not seen what I have been seeing over the past few months for what is going to emerge as the next big money-making opportunities in crypto. Now, the last time I had this conviction on a thesis, on a belief of what was going to be the next big thing in crypto, it was my second ever YouTube video, which was one of my most popular, and it led to me making over $100,000 on the Blur airdrop, literally in the middle of the bear market. And so this video is the next biggest thesis that I have on what is going to emerge as the next big 10 to 100x coins in this bull market.
If you do not understand what I'm going to tell you about the sectors and the coins that you need to be focusing on, you will not do well in this bull run. It is really important that you understand the sectors that I'm going to tell you about, the coins, the parts of crypto, which is where the biggest gains are going to be. First, you need to understand that there is two types of coins in crypto. There is infrastructure coins and there is app layer coins, okay? Infrastructure coins is basically like the railway of crypto. Ethereum, Solana, Bitcoin. It's like the foundational level that allows for everything to be built on top of it. And the app layer is everything built on top of the foundation. So it's things like Echelon Prime, video game, like the game, Friendtech, the social trading platforms, Rollbit, the gambling app, Unibot. All the apps that are built on top of the infrastructure is the app layer. These are the two main sectors in crypto. And in 2017, infrastructure won. These ones won. In 2020 bull, infrastructure won again. So for the past, 6-7 years, the infrastructure space has been the way that you've made the big money in crypto. That's like the biggest gains have been, okay? In 2024, I believe that it is the application layer that is going to win. And most people watching this video, your investment portfolio, it consists only of infrastructure layer. And infrastructure layer not even being the better ones like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, but infrastructure layer being shit like Cardano, Link, or just any old infrastructure coin which has never ever gotten any sort of adoption. Things like DOT and Atom. These coins are not coming back, and this is not where you should be focusing your attention. You should be focusing, in my opinion, on the application layer, because the infrastructure layer in crypto, it's finally good enough to host mass adoption applications. So in the last bull run, Ethereum was too expensive, the transactions were too slow, it was a pain in the ass, but finally we have layer 2s that are functioning. EIP 4844 is coming out soon. That'll increase the scalability of layer 2s exponentially. And we also have Solana. The infrastructure has been built to allow for apps to function on top of it. So we actually have infrastructure that we can build really popular apps on top of. So I believe that this bull run is the app layer bull run, which is where the majority of the value is going to be accruing in the application layer. So the most popular things that make people money in crypto at the moment has been applications. Unibot, it's a trading app. DMT, it's a game that has poker. Rollbit, it's a gambling app. Friendtech, it's a social trading app. All of these things that have been making people the most money in crypto are all applications. It's not really infrastructure related projects that are making people money. It's funny because this idea of the application layer accruing all the value runs totally contrary to what has been the belief for many years now in crypto. This photo is basically what people think the market's going to be. They think that the Web 2 space, right, the internet, all the value accrues in the applications, right? Everything built on top of the internet. And the actual internet itself doesn't really accrue much value. You don't invest in HTML. You might invest in GoDaddy, for example. Whereas on the blockchain, it's sort of flipped, or it has been flipped. Infrastructure, the protocol layer, Ethereum, Bitcoin, all these infrastructure projects is where the value accrues, and the application layer, where the actual apps are, doesn't really have any of the value. That's what the blockchain industry currently is. I believe that we're going to see a shift away from this and a movement towards what we see in the Web 2 space, where most of the value is in the application layer. And this guy tweet here was really good. I agree with it. He says, I think we see a combination of fat plus fin protocols. For most chains, value will continue to concentrate at the app layer. I agree with this because this was the OG thesis, right? Web3 value accruals in the infrastructure, not the app layer. This mindset has been correct, but I think it's going to be wrong in this bull run because we're going to see in this bull run lots of super popular apps being built, which are going to have most of the attention and fuss from attention, most of the value accrued in terms of capital. So here's what has been happening in crypto, and I think this is what's going to continue to happen. So we have this pendulum swing from infrastructure to application layer, back and forth, back and forth. So what happens is in crypto, it's way easier to build a Solana competitor, an Ethereum competitor, than it is to actually build a really popular application. Because when you build infrastructure, you just basically have to build the structure. And then you pay other people to build the apps, which is the really hard part of crypto. Like making a popular app, making a popular game is way harder than creating some sort of Solana competitor and then basically giving grants out to all the different different projects to try to build things. It's a way easier to do that. And so as well as this, the valuations of infrastructure projects has been higher. So imagine you want to build a project. Are you going to build an app and then not be able to get much money from VCs? Or are you going to build infrastructure and get 100x premium in terms of the amount of money that you can raise and the amount of money that you make? Are you going to make 100 times more building the infrastructure of crypto, or are you going to make 100 times less building the application layer? You're obviously going to pick infrastructure. But the problem with this is everyone in crypto is focused on the foundations, the railways. And you can build all the railways all you want, but if there's nothing running on the railway, there's no reason that railway should have any value. So first you have people building the infrastructure, and then you realize, well, no one's actually building apps. No one's going to come to crypto and fuss the infrastructure is a ghost town. And that's what we're seeing right now. Basically, all these layer ones, layer twos are launching and the token price is just going down only. Look at SWI, Arbitrum, even Optimism's performing poorly. And infrastructure lands a ghost town because there's no apps being built. And valuations go down, so people start working on consumer apps. And this is sort of where we are right now. So we've seen that a few apps have begun to emerge. Things like Rollbit, DMT, Echelon Prime, the game, it's finally, starting to get usage. And any of the other apps that have started to come out that I mentioned before. So this is where we are now. Valuations of all the infrastructure is falling. So people start building apps. Now, the next step is we're going to have some killer apps be made where the number of users in crypto 100x's and the adoption's coming, right? Whether it's some super popular global game that comes out that all these people start using, or friend tech takes off, social trading becomes a big thing, or maybe the gambling sector expands, whatever it is, apps are going to become popular. And it's this phase here where the application layer sees the most adoption, sees the biggest returns, because killer apps are built, people start focusing on apps, people allocate investments to apps, and that's just where the money is. And so the thing is, the pendulum was swinging to apps now, but eventually it's going to swing back to people investing into infrastructure. Because what happens is, imagine Solana has 5 apps on it with millions of users, and all the apps have gone up heaps in value, and Solana as a protocol is now really valuable because it has all these apps on it. What would be the easiest thing to do as a builder to basically raise tons of money and make tons of money? Well, basically what you would do is you would build a Solana competitor, and you would say, all right, so all we have to do is just get the same apps that Solana has and make them better, and we'll have all these users, and our protocol will be worth billions of dollars. That's what happens after these apps are built. New infrastructure can command a huge premium with this narrative of building the next big ecosystem. And then VCs go back to infrastructure investing. So it's a pendulum, right? Infrastructure has been the big thing. Now the app layer, apps become built, and then eventually it'll go back to infrastructure. Because right now this is the comparison, right? What do you rather invest in? Let's do a side-by-side comparison. The infrastructure layer is saturated by VCs. So every single infrastructure project, pretty much, all the layer ones, all the layer twos, everything is just a cesspool of VCs. All these layer ones and layer twos launch, all these VCs are big bags of it locked up, and they're sitting on huge multiples in profit, and retail just gets dumped on. It keeps happening every single cycle. Remember in the last cycle, it was like things like Neo. Neo was the next big Ethereum competitor with all the VCs selling at 100x, and now it's dead. The next ones of the cycle is going to be things like Monad and Aptos. They're going to die off as well. It's the same game plan. So that's a problem, right? Because VCs are not good for your project. If you are trying to make your token go up the most in value, VCs are the worst thing that you can have, because VCs are leeches. They get in early, they take their 10x profit, and then they flip it back into the next project, right? They're very selfish, greedy, extraction-based investors. Retail are a much better holder base for your coin for price appreciation, because retail are idiots. Retail do not understand the concept of selling, right? VCs know how to sell. Retail doesn't. So when your coin is just retail, the price is able to go up a lot higher because you have a lot less sell pressure. A VC will sell a 10x when it gets unlocked because he wants to take his profit and put it into the next pre-sale, and because he has investors who want their profit. Retail will hit a 10x and go, I'm aiming for 100, right? It's a different mentality, different approach. As well as this, infrastructure compared to app layer is a very boring niche. It's just like the app layer, right? There's no users, no one cares. Tokens have all been performing badly, so infrastructure is bad taste in people's mouth, whereas all the apps are pumping. There's been a huge inflation of the amount of layer 1 competitors and layer 2s that have launched. It's just a very saturated space right now. And when you think about it, right, when apps become popular on these layer 1s, for example, or layer 2s like Arbitrum, right, the thing is, a popular app actually is a net outflow of capital from the infrastructure token. Because if there's a really popular app on Arbitrum, for example, people are going to sell their Arbitrum to go and put their money into this app or to put their money into the token of the application. So when these infrastructure projects get adoption, it's actually bad for the token because all the money is going to flow out into the apps. So in terms of, investing in infrastructure when we're probably going into an app layer bull run, it just doesn't really make sense. And then when you look at the app layer, it's currently leading the bull market. It's 100 times more interesting for investment. Apps are way more interesting. They're fun. It's where the money is. There's no VC saturation because most app layer protocols are retail dominated. For example, no VCs are investing in Rollbit, a unregistered non-KYC gambling platform. No VC is going to invest in that. And it's overlooked by the market, right? So there's this flow of capital from infra to app layer that we're going to see likely during this bull run. Because when you think about it, right, everyone here is here to make money. Why are you in crypto? Just to make money. And projects in crypto are competing for basically looking like the best way for people to achieve this goal. It doesn't matter what your project is, whether it's a wallet, whether it's an exchange. Your goal is to basically sell your platform as being the best place for people to achieve the goal of making money. And what is better, an infrastructure or an application at better selling this dream? Applications, the apps, is a way better selling mechanism for people in crypto than infrastructure could be. Like, who is going to pick owning the Arbitrum token over a mega popular app that's printing millionaires in the bull run, right? Just think about that for a second. And yeah, imagine this scenario. What do you do as an Arbitrum holder? Are you going to buy more ARB when there's a really popular game on the platform, or are you going to play the game and buy the native token to join the money-making train? It's a pretty obvious choice. Now, however, some of you are probably watching this like, hey, Daniel, you just basically said infrastructure is bad to invest in, but you hold Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. What are you trying to say here? Well, I think there's exceptions to this rule. So Bitcoin, for example, Bitcoin is the app, right? The app of Bitcoin is Bitcoin, and it's not an issue. As well as this, with Ethereum, they both have ETFs coming. And in the TradFi world, Bitcoin and ETH are going to be viewed as indexed exposure to the Web3 world. People are going to go, how do I get exposure to crypto in the most simple and easy way possible without taking heaps of risk? What's the answer? It's Ethereum and Bitcoin through the ETF. So they're not just infrastructure, it's beyond that. And as well as this, I think the second place layer one, whatever that is, I think it's probably Solana, will have a similar thesis to Ethereum. It's going to be more than just infrastructure, in my opinion. It's going to be looked at as some sort of indexed exposure to the Web3 world, a token bigger than just being a protocol layer, for example. So what application sectors to focus on? This is my short list: gaming, gambling, social fi tokens. So when Frentech has a token, that's worth looking into. As well as this, BRC20, so basically Bitcoin related ecosystem. Whatever the big popular apps are in ERC20 land, these are going to be built in BRC20 land. So you should be looking into investing into these, because I believe that BRC20 could be a big thing in this bull run. It's going to take a bit to get built, but it's basically what Ethereum was in like 2016, 2017. And as well as this, any new sectors that rise in the bull, because apps are ever changing. It's quite a fast growing sector. There could be new things that pop up, right? Social fi tokens didn't really properly exist to this level until Frentech. There was a couple competitors years ago, but nothing really crazy popular. So how am I currently allocating? Right now, I'm researching up and coming apps that are built mostly on Solana that'll likely do an airdrop. I want to farm these ones. Number two, I'm using Frentech to accumulate points for the airdrop, because when it airdrops, I think it'll be pretty good. And number three, I'm investing into pre-sales of application-based, projects through my private syndicate. So let me give you some examples, right? This is the total list of projects that my private syndicate invests in. We are currently looking into Lolly. It's a Bitcoin-based cashback rewards platform, $150 million in revenue, I think last year, or pretty sure it was last year. They got a lot of active users. They're going to tokenize soon. So we're looking into that one. D Labs is a gaming studio. When you invest in games, you want to try to focus on studios versus individual games, because studios have much larger and stronger infrastructure to build things than an individual game. And as well as this, Project Awakening. So there's a game called EVE Online. They're sort of integrating Web3 a bit. So that should be, these three are the main application layer bets that we have gone into at the moment, and we're going to be allocating more as well. We're doing a little bit of infrastructure. You can see here we did Monad, ZK Sync. What else did we do? Layer 0. But we're trying to focus more on the app layer now. So do you want access to the most lucrative pre-sale opportunities, plus all the other ways that I make money, plus one-on-one guidance from me during the entire bull run? Well, if you want this, you should be in my mastermind. You can tell from this video that I know what I'm talking about. You can tell that I'm going to be allocating to the top sectors, that these ways that I'm showing you are going to make tons of money. If you want to follow alongside what I'm doing and get access to basically all the hands-on signals and knowledge and, basically telling you exactly what I'm buying and when, all of this is inside my mastermind, right? Okay. Runs till the end of the bull run. I bring on 5 people every month. If you want to apply to see if you'd be a good member, you can go to the website here and I'll have a look at your application. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.